Well, Few Spirits is a grain-to-glass distillery located in Evanston, Illinois. We were the first legal alcohol ever produced in Evanston. Evanston, Illinois actually was also the home of the Prohibition movement. A group of women called the Women's Christian Temperance Union was actually founded in Ohio, but they ended up setting up shop here in Evanston, and the second head of the WCTU was a woman named Frances Elizabeth Willard. Miss Willard lived about a mile north of the distillery here, and she was probably one of the most famous women in the United States and possibly even the world at the time. In fact, if you go to the U.S. Capitol in the Rotunda, there are 50 statues representing the most 50 famous people from each of the 50 states. And out of those 50 statues, there are 49 white men and exactly 1 woman. And Miss Willard would be the only woman. There are many people that kind of criticize Prohibition as a general concept, but if you go back and look at it from the perspective of the time, the Prohibition movement makes potentially a little bit more sense. At the time, the average per capita consumption of whiskey per man, woman, and child in the United States was over 15 gallons per year. And so if you consider that perhaps the children were not carrying their weight, and if you presume that some of the women and even some of the men perhaps were not carrying their weight, the people that were drinking whiskey were truly drinking an absurd amount of whiskey at the time. People think we will have received a whole bunch of blowback or criticism from the Old Line Guard in Evanston or from the WCTU, and in fact that's just simply not true. For the most part, the community reception to us has been nothing but warm and welcoming. When we were able to repeal 160 years of Prohibition tendencies in Evanston, it's kind of something that we're really kind of proud of. There are those that kind of see a similarity between Frances Elizabeth Willard's initials and our name, but that would be a sheer coincidence. Everything in town is named after her, including a dorm at Northwestern, as well as an elementary school. And we do think it would be poor taste to name a distillery after an elementary school. And it was my understanding that you were not going to be accusing me of having bad taste.